Hey guys, and Mikey31 here, bringing you a online game of Madden 25. Taking my Jets up against the Giants. Opening night in the NFL, Thursday night football, watching a little bit of Broncos and Ravens. Watching the Broncos shred the Ravens. So I figure it's a good time to go around the NFL and give my thoughts as to what the heck is going on, or what I think will go on. NFL is probably the hardest league to predict because life in the NFL is so topsy-turvy. It changes so dramatically week to week, let alone year to year, because rosters change so much. I mean, every team has their core that they build around, that they hope will be the backbone of their team. But the complementary parts change so much on a season-to-season basis that you never really can tell how things are going to shake out and fit until really a few weeks into the season. The thing about the NFL is that the preseason is 99.9% fool's gold. You got to throw out everything that you see during the preseason for the most part. You have your things that are blatantly obvious, of course. It doesn't take much going out on a limb to, say that teams like the Niners, the Broncos, the Packers are talented teams, and unless things just cave in and collapse on them, are going to be in the mix. It doesn't take a lot to figure out that teams like the Jets, Raiders, Jaguars are going to be awful. My poor Jets. Ugh. But that in-between area is, you just never know. Back when I did this kind of stuff for a living, I came across some statistical study that basically concluded that, and I'm going to be off, but you'll get the general idea. But as far as the exact figures go, I'm going to be off. I'm just taking a stab at the dark base on what I remember. But the difference between the team that goes 7-9 and a team that goes 11-5 over the course of a season comes down to maybe 4 or 5 plays per game. A handful of plays in a game that either break the wrong way for you, where you don't execute, or where someone makes a superhuman play, or someone blows an assignment. Just little things that just accumulate over the course of a season during each game. I mean, the window is so narrow in the NFL, it's ridiculous. It's not like college where the talent disparity on a game-to-game basis can be very, very wide. But on the other hand, we're all sports fans and football fans. We need something to talk about and something to speculate over. So, let's take a stab in the dark with it. Let me start with some general trends around the NFL. This trend towards the spread, the read option game in the NFL, and dual threat quarterbacks like RG3 and Colin Kaepernick that seem to be enjoying a whole lot of bandwagon acclaim and following. I don't think that style of football in the NFL is going to be nearly as effective going forward as it was early on. Remember the Wildcat? Remember when the Dolphins first started running the Wildcat and gashing people with it, and then the NFL being the type of league that it is, everyone started running their own little versions of the Wildcat as well, and it worked for a while. But then, what happened? Slowly but surely, defensive coordinators adjusted to it, and now you hardly see anyone running the Wildcat that much anymore. I think the same thing is going to gradually happen to the zone read game. NFL DCs are degenerate junkies. They consume game film for breakfast, and I just don't believe that you're going to be able to survive exposing your quarterback to those additional hits. And also, just from a protection standpoint, I think teams are going to realize that their offensive lines aren't good enough to hold up, and they're going to chill out with that. But going around week 1 of the league, as I watch this shreddage, wow. end mercifully. The games that intrigue me, of course, are Jets and the Buckaroos. I want to see just how putrid the Jets are going to look and what are my odds of seeing them win the JV and Clowney sweepstakes. Packers and the Niners. Kaepernick and Aaron Rodgers. Two teams that I think are going to be making some noise in the NFC. Good to see them matching up early and seeing what they have to offer. A couple of big divisional games early in the NFC East. I'm so tired of Dallas. They're not that good. They're not that talented. They're not this underachieving waste of talent roster that people perceive them to be. But I want to see how Monty Ball's going to work on defense versus the Giants, who, when they're right, are just as good on offense as anybody in the league. Chip Kelly's debut against the Redskins. Really interested in seeing how he tailors his offense to the pro-style game, especially with Vic at the helm. He's not going to be running zone read with Vic, 30, 40 times a game. Vic won't survive. And we all know that about Vic. Vic is fragile. He's not going to be able to take that kind of punishment, and he'll turn the ball over a million times. Saints and the Falcons. I think the Saints are going to have a little bit of their mojo back this year. They had their heart and soul ripped out of their entire team last season and were a pretty uneven, disjointed group going against the Falcons. Matty Ice and the boys with the ATL looking to, I think, continue showing some signs of being a threat in the NFC to get to the Super Bowl on a consistent basis as we get into the prime years of Matty Ice's NFL career. And the other game that I have a interest in is the Dolphins and the Brownies. I want the Brownies to be good. I really do. The league is a better place when Cleveland's a good football city. Well, Cleveland's always a good football city, but when the Brownie faithful have a good team to support, it's just a good thing for the NFL as a whole. And as far as the Dolphins go, I'm not a Tannehill believer, never have been. Still am not. Who knows? Could be wrong, more than likely am, but I would like to see how him, Mike Wallace, and the additions that they made pan out. So, hope you guys enjoyed this vid. Hope you guys enjoy the opening week of the NFL, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.